The version of agentic finance where you have a chatbot that you text things into will probably not take off because that's not what people want. People essentially want one button that makes them money. So we did just that. Many organizations, neobanks for example, or payment providers, they can't really give their clients yield. They can't promise that because of the regulations.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Time Founders. Today we're joined by Rodion Alexandrov. Rodion, how are you doing?
Doing great. Hey everyone, thanks for having me.
Rodion and I met for the first time during the Magic Block Hack Rounds last year. And I remember that time after we selected, but before coming in Dubai, Loyola was doing its first fundraising round. You guys ended up raising 2.2 millions on MetaDAO, if I'm not mistaken. So that was widely successful. And so it's among one of the most interesting and experienced team that I've been the pleasure to work with together. So to get things started, Rodion, why don't you introduce Loyal and give us a bit of the origin story?
Yeah, sure. So Loyal is agentic finance automations on Solana, both for end consumers and businesses. And initially, we started our MetaDAO raise as a private AI chat protocol. But at some point, we realized that the version of agentic finance where you have a chatbot that you text things into will probably not take off because that's not what people want. People essentially want one button that makes them money. So we did just that.
Nice. That's a pretty powerful one tagline and like one-liner for the app. Uh, how did you come to that realization? Like, what's your? I mean, that's a great way to explain Loyal to someone that never touched DeFi. But can you maybe give us a sense of like what was the initial thesis like, or at least how did you come to this realization while talking to your users?
Yes, our initial plans and I'd say assumptions was that verifiable workloads is what people need because that is I wouldn't say a big problem, but it's something that is lacking for basically most of the existing privacy protocols. Many companies that call themselves private do not prove that. And we wanted to lean into the infrastructure that will basically give people like I would say, the most accurate and verifiable way to like, actually prove that their data is private. Um, so at some point, though, we realized that if we want people to use the infrastructure, we actually got to have a traction of our own and prove that it works. So we decided to focus, for now at least, on the consumer side of things. And we created our first product, which is Loyal Earn, and we just announced our second one, which is Loyal Watchdog, that protects your assets from DeFi hacks.
Nice. Makes a lot of sense wanting to bootstrap your own infrastructure. Um, Maybe one, give us a sense of the benefits of these products, and then in terms of the thesis now compared to before, yield optimizer are something that in some shape or form have existed in DeFi before. So maybe what is the difference? What is the set of new benefits that you bring uniquely to the table for a user using Loyal compared to maybe some of the yield optimizers that are available on the market, either on Ethereum or on Solana.
Sure. So I'll talk about perspective from the consumer side and from the business side. So, as I said in the beginning, our automations are self-custodial, meaning that you do not really depend on our front end. And if you're a consumer and you use our product, like even in case if like our GitHub gets hacked or we just all die in a horrific accident and Loyal doesn't work anymore, you still have access to your funds because there is no centralized vault that you deposit your money into. Every user, when they create an account, deposit their own personal on-chain agent, and we, from our side, just give these agents like best directions or instructions for yield optimization. But in fact, what our user creates is just a smart account, a multi-sig, which we have very limited rights to. So the benefit here is, again, the custody and the safety. And that's from the consumer perspective. From the business perspective, it's not only safety, but also, I wouldn't say legal flexibility, but many organizations, neobanks, for example, or payment providers, they can't really give their clients yield. They can't promise that because of the regulations. But in our case, everything is self-custodial. Again, because you can use that even without our front end. You just need to fiddle with the Solana CLI and maybe Claude to help you build this transaction. So yeah, these are the main benefits, and well, they seem to be proving useful because we got some traction. We got a few thousand users just in 6 weeks since our launch, and we're signing a few letter of intents with our first B2B customers.
Wow, that's super interesting. I definitely want to dig deeper into that, but just sticking with the product, essentially what you're giving users is a way to automatize with agents their lead generation activity, and then I think you have a way to make sure that they can set policies such that their funds are always secure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, absolutely. So the way it works, I'll try not to be too technical, but basically when you use Loyal, you create a smart account, which is just Squad's multi-sig, and it's used by everyone on Solana. The trick is that you are the only admin of that multi-sig, and each agent that you connect has only a few specific whitelisted transactions. For example, our earn agent, it can only deposit into 5 whitelisted Camino pools. It can deposit and it can pull your money out. So even if that agent gets compromised, hacked, hallucinated, it simply cannot send any wrong transaction. I mean, it can send, but it will not get executed by Solana. The second example is our new product that we launched with WebSC. It's called Watchdog. And what it does is it monitors the pool health of the DeFi protocols you put your money to. So like TVL, some things like smart contract authority, signs of it being hacked, and if anything goes south, it just sends one simple transaction, which is pulling the money out. And again, since we don't have a centralized vault of our own, all our users have their own little watchdog that looks after their positions to be the first who escapes if anything goes wrong.
That's actually pretty cool. And now that I understand it, it makes a lot of sense. And one of my question would have been, okay, having your money being managed by an agent makes sense from an efficiency standpoint, but how do you ensure that users are comfortable with that agent holding the fund ultimately and being able to shuffle them around? And your answer kind of explained that. I really like the idea. What in terms of worst case scenario? What if the agent hallucinate? You mentioned that already. What in terms of like the actual policies, for example, and the user behavior towards those policies? Do you see users like going for the policies that you provide? Are they able to write their own custom policy? Do they just click because they're lazy? I'm curious to to go one step further and like read through the user behavior in respect to those policies and security.
Yes, so again, since we use the existing squad's infrastructure, users
Hmm.
can add and edit their policies however they want, but we just don't have that in our front end to keep the simplicity and safety. But again, if you really want, you can take Solana CLI wallets, your private key, and you can do like whatever you want with your smart account. In terms of the worst case scenarios, with lawyer earn, it's you simply are not getting healed, right? The compromised agent can only put your money into Camino and withdraw. And like the worst thing it can do is withdraw it to your own wallet, so you're not getting yield. You just have your money sitting around. With the Watchdog, it's a bit different, and the worst case scenario here is false positive. So it can just trigger the Watchdog to pull your money out of the DeFi protocol,
Got it.
and again, that typically means that you don't get yield.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah,
Let's switch.
I think it's like one of the best outcomes that can happen if you're.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Um, you mentioned you were starting to talk about your traction and the numbers that you're seeing. So, I think you guys managed to reach 700, 600, 700 $1,000 in TVL in the very short time span. You did a launch with Seeker where you saw thousands of installs and people trying out I think your Earn Agent product. So maybe give us a kind of the picture of where you guys are at in terms of, or the major milestone that you see in terms of development.
Mhm. Let's see. Well, people really loved the simplicity, and it kind of amazes me still because yield is nothing new, and there
Hmm.
are a ton of yield providers, but people really do love one button, especially if it's pretty. The second thing is our trust assumptions seem to be verified because, uh, if I'm not mistaken, the largest deposit so far is 100K. So yeah, it seems people are trusting us with money, um, which is proves that the self custody and like additional safety
Hmm.
layers is what people need.
Nice. And what about the sort of major KPIs that you guys hit or next KPIs perhaps that you're trending towards?
Yes. So for ourselves, we hoped to hit 500K by the end of the August. So we kind of have completed, I guess if that's the word, our own KPIs. And our next goal is onboarding B2B customers because we have a few of them, and you will probably be surprised who these people are. So Um, Basically, these like again, as we know, like Solana is now responsible for most of the on-chain transactions in crypto.
Hmm.
And these businesses have nothing to do with crypto at all. These are typically just large companies who have idle cash that they do nothing with. Right. One of them is real estate developer who just has some money sitting around. The other one is like
Interesting.
another real estate developer who just gets some of their sales in crypto, and again they just have it sitting in the Bybit. Um, Another one is a neobank that wants to uh, give their customers these like self-custodial ability to get yield, because that is a problem for neobanks. You unless you're like licensed enough,
Hmm. Hmm.
you can't offer your customers yield, unlike traditional banks. So these are people that are like typically outside of Solana, right? They're not traders; they're just businesses, and yeah, we see that most of our TVL in the coming month will come from that like growing stablecoin sector. So just real businesses who like have a ton of cash and they need it very safely automated.
So you're allowing these companies that hold some part of the treasury in crypto to plug into Loyal to get exposure to this yield maximizing activity, doing it in a secure way, and at the same time reducing the regulatory exposure that comes with custody. Is that a fair
Yes,
summary?
yes, exactly. Exactly. The only thing is that they typically don't want maximized yields. They
Mm,
because it's like a different risk profile for them. They would
I
want
see.
something ideally backed by treasury bills, and maybe a little part of their cash being put in some like, more risky. And yeah, like the crypto and Solana gives a ton of benefits for them, because if you tell such a business that yeah you're like liquid the minute you request it, there
Yeah,
are no
of course.
lockups like in banks. Like you need your cash, you click one button, you have it in 1 minute, and uh, they're not get used to that.
That's a nice selling point for sure. How does that change things for you guys? Are you constructing strategies or policies that are specific to this type of businesses, or is that something that they manage on their own because they can essentially just tell the agent to adjust the strategy that they feel more comfortable with?
Mhm. uh, well, right now, since these will be our first B2B customers, we are kind of doing anything half manually. So we do construct policies, set up that infra, uh, but in everything that comes after, we're basically hand holding them.
Got it. And so right now, most of your traction and user base is still consumer, but you
Yes.
are leaning towards these businesses. Tell us maybe a bit more about the consumers because I think that's pretty interesting. Solana obviously has such an engaged consumer audience. Seeker, I think, was instrumental for you guys to get traction as well, doing the campaign with them. So maybe can you give us a glimpse into this type of consumer audience in terms of their risk profile, maybe what kind of feature they're really like sticking to, what the retention look like, and maybe what are some of the maybe user behavior that you didn't expect by interacting with these people.
Oh yeah, there are like a lot of personal insights I got. Like if and maybe like for my fellow builders who need to hear that. So if you are using Solana for rent, you need to be very explicit. Uh, Probably not in just one place in your app. that this is in fact rent and it will be claimed back. Because like since you create a smart account, you then have community position, you have this and that. People would spend around $4 or $5 in rent on Solana, and we got a ton of negative reviews because people felt that these are commissions that are not sent back. That's one thing. The second thing is the actually the launch was a bit rough because we like everything that could go wrong did. Like our RPCs were just stalling, and we've been getting messages from people asking where their money are because like RPC can't deliver them their position into the app. Um, we yeah, was a bit rough, but in the end, like we got praised as well for the simple UX, for the like good API, because like that's essentially what people need. They don't want to be fiddled with agents. They don't want to like complete long questionnaires. They don't need to like 100 tweaks and knobs. They just want it to work, and that's again, I think what agentic finance should be. You need to utilize agents to make it simple, usable, and to give like better interfaces and usability. First of all,
Are you seeing any behavior that you didn't expect? What you're saying makes sense. The fact that user sort of don't expect to pay certain commission, but they don't really understand what those commission are coming from, whether it's rent, whether it's fee that the app is taking. So that user behavior is sort of common across the experience for other builders as well. Whereas some unique behavior that you didn't expect, perhaps, is there someone that maybe is trying to go and push the risk curve more than others, or that they are trying to leverage the product in a particular way? Any insights that you can share there of behavior that maybe surprise you on the good side or on the bad side?
mm-hmm. On the good side, I was surprised with proactiveness of like Solana community, because like yeah, there are some people who think that they got their fees stolen and they would leave a bad review, but there were such a ton of people that would just genuinely report something like to help us to improve it quickly. But yeah, but that's like it's not a product behavior, right? It's just user behavior. In terms of the uh, product behavior, the retention. Yeah, there was like one thing. It's actually pretty funny. So and it was very risky for us because we have a feature called auto deposit, and it's built around Solana's native subscriptions that they released like 2 months ago. And what it does essentially is you subscribe to auto deposit, and as soon as our agent sees idle cash, idle USDC in your wallet, it just takes it and puts to earn, so you could like maximize your yield. And the risk is that people would get upset that the money were transferred from their software to some yield optimizer. Like yeah, we like it doesn't happen just magically. You need to like explicitly set it up and enable, but still that was a big risk we took, and surprisingly people loved that. We got around 500, almost 500k swept with auto deposit from people's wallets, and basically no one was complaining about that, and people left maybe 150k, maybe 200k from that amount just in yield. So they were like yeah, we expected that some people will be like, oh yeah, okay, it was taken, then it's on farm, yeah, it's fine. I'll let it stay there. But we were not expect such a high retention of this money.
Hmm,
So like around, well, I can give you a percentage of people, but like uh, around a third of this money just stayed in the yield routing.
interesting. I guess you
Yeah,
can
and
characterize it as the aha moment for loyal when people like the
yeah,
concept kind of click for them.
and it seems that like as for now, this auto deposit feature is responsible for 80% of this native Solana subscriptions volume, which is like 11, yeah, 11,000 payments, and we had 9,000 of these auto deposit sweeps.
Got it. How about the economics of loyal? What's your monetization and what's kind of the take rate that you
Mhm.
guys justify for an agent essentially taking your money and park it in a on Camino or on other lending pool out there?
Mhm. So I think it's like the best part, probably, at least for us as a protocol. The industry average revenue to TVL ratio is between zero point 0.5 and 1%, meaning, like for example, if you have a DeFi lending protocol and you have 100 millions of TVL, you will be like on average making from 500K to 1 million yearly. And in our case, that would be the base rate. And we have many opportunities to take more than that. For example, with the Watchdog,
Hmm.
which would take like additional small APY percentage for reducing your risks. Then for more risky optimization strategies, we would take a bit more because, like, realistically, if it's protected, people wouldn't care if you give them 12% APY or 15 or 16. And you can safely have more margin on these higher risk strategies. And like as we know, Solana people have higher risk tolerance.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, that's basically the monetization strategy for B2B customers. It is kind of the same, but the numbers are just bigger.
Got it. Got it. So spread on the yield for those type of users that wants to push the risk curve. This spread can be higher, and on the B2B side, obviously, the under asset under management would be so much larger that that can probably
Yeah,
justify and make sense from a business and revenue perspective, charging a smaller spread.
yeah.
Makes sense. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. This has been pretty interesting to hear about your evolution, the new products that you've been introducing, and your KPIs. Maybe what in terms of future milestone that you guys want to hit, and just in general, what's next for Loyal? What we should be expecting from you next?
Uh, so yeah, a few things. Well, the next obvious milestone is 1 mil, which we are trying to push with our first B2B products. Then, of course, by any means, we are not abandoning our consumer side of things. We are delivering more optimizations to push yields even higher, and we will be integrating a few additional curated yield sources to our orchestrator agent. And yeah, so we are also having a small OTC raise right now. It's almost fully committed, almost fully filled. And yeah, DM me if you need more details. And yeah, we're preparing for the bigger raise next year. So yeah, these are our main directions right now.
Amazing. Well, I think you guys obviously that's well deserved. You guys have been pushing, changing direction aggressively, even with this kind of common thesis that hasn't changed that much, but then willing to tap more into the consumer side of things first, and then evolving into the B2B to ultimately bring to market your vision. Super excited to keep supporting and to see that coming to fruition. What are final advice that perhaps you would give to builders that are either building with MagicBlock or building on Solana in terms of yeah, things that you learn, or whether regarding yield or just in general about the playbook that you guys followed?
Mhm. Um, the I would say I don't want to boast, right? But probably one advice I can give is trying to lean more into like design and brand stuff, because again it surprises me, but like we're trying to do a good tech, like bring something new into DeFi, but people praise us for our design and UX. Right now you have like all these design tools, like very good AI that can give you a nice interface, uh, and it makes it harder to stand out.
Yeah, if everyone use AI to for their front, and then what you get is kind of this common denominator across all the brand that kind of feel like washed out. So what you're saying definitely resonate with me. Awesome. Well, Rodion, did you had any concluding thought that you want to mention?
All right, guys, thanks for having me, and stay loyal.